Big Dash knows what?
Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? The NFC East. You see the thumbnail. We're going to get into it. I'm going to be talking about the entire NFC East in this video. Some people are going to be mad. Some people are going to be happy. Some people are going to be pissed off. I even might piss off some of my own fan base because I got to be honest in this video. This is the time of year where I can actually be honest. Still got a level head. The season has not started yet, but you already know how I feel when it comes to some of these teams in the NFC East. But the division has a chance on paper. Of the division has a chance to be the best division in football, in my opinion. When I look at these rosters, when I look at the rosters on paper, I'm like, okay, wow. Because I really thought the New York Giants had a great offseason, and we did. But when I look at some of these other pickups, some of these under-the-radar pickups from our rivals, I got to give them the kudos too, even if I hate some of these teams more than anything in the world. But I want to start off with 2024, right? How it ended, right? How it ended in 2024. Of course, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. They finished first place, in the league, in first place also in the division. After that, you have the Washington Commanders coming out of nowhere, under, the leadership of a rookie franchise quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Took them all the way to the NFC championship. Lost to the Eagles. They were second in the division. Cowboys, down year, dealt with a lot of injuries, third in the division. And the New York Giants, scraping, crawling, falling, fumbling, all the way down to the fourth place in the division. Now, for me, again, when the season ended, I was in a dark place. The Eagles had just won the Super Bowl, and that's the team that I hate the most. They win the Super Bowl again, and I'm just like, okay, they got two Super Bowls now. Slowly closing the gap. Doesn't look like they're getting any worse. Quarterback ascending, team is ascending. Even as much as I hate the head coach, I got to give him a little bit of kudos, right? A little bit of kudos. But I'm just sitting here like, I don't see the Eagles falling off anytime soon. Because a lot of people will say, oh, they want to pray for the downfall of the rivals. No, I want the rivals to be great, because when we beat the rivals, when the New York Giants get back to where they need to be, where they should be, it'll feel even better when everybody is strong. So I want to talk about some of these team additions, right? Team additions, they could be free agents, they can be rookies, But I just want to talk about the team additions. I'm going to be talking about the Eagles first, right? And when it comes to these team additions, I'm only looking at really two additions that they made, right? And that's going to be through the draft. It's going to be Jahad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama, Roll Tide. You already know what it is. And then also, defensive lineman Ty Robinson. Now, they did make some other pickups, but it's really not about the additions for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's more about just the team coming back as a whole. Now, they did get rid of Darius Slay. I believe he's with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they're not missing the beat at all when it comes to the secondary. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, those guys had strong rookie campaigns. So for me, I'm looking at the Eagles like, one of the weaknesses that I could point out was, inside linebacker, Nakobe Dean was injured. You went ahead and drafted Jahad Campbell. I assume Jahad Campbell's going to be a starter. Still got Zach Bond there too. And then I look at the defensive line. Okay, they lost Milton. I forgot where he went, but they picked up a guy like Ty Robinson. Now, Ty Robinson is not going to be a starter. You already had Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Those guys in there. That's your solid defensive line. But Ty Robinson is a sneaky good pick. I was high on Ty Robinson coming out of Nebraska. But when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, it's more like things stayed the same. They still get better because there's one more year under their belt. Consistent systems, no changes of the coordinators or anything like that. So Eagles, that's their additions. Next, I'm looking at the Commanders. And what was the biggest issue with the Commanders last year was being able to protect their quarterback. Now, Jaden Daniels was able to do a lot of things with his legs. He was able to extend a lot of plays because he's that good. He avoiding pressure, extending plays, taking off. he helped out that offensive line. But what did they do this offseason? They went ahead and traded for Laremy Tunsil, and they picked up Josh Connerly in the draft. So now you're looking like, okay, Laremy Tunsil, how much does he still have left in the tank? I think he got enough left in the tank. What do you want to do? Ultimately, you want to build up this offensive line to protect your quarterback, and I think they did that. And then I look at, some places where they were lacking a little bit in the wide receiver room. Again, they got Noah Brown. I believe he just got injured too. They picked up Deebo Samuels. Who knows how much he has left in the tank, but he's still somebody that you have to pay attention to. He's still dangerous, in my opinion. It's not a guy that you can overlook. You team him up with Terry McLaurin, and you got a nice wide receiver duo. Would have been even better with Noah Brown. Again, I don't know the extent of his injury. I just know I believe he was carted off. But then you also look at their secondary, and they had some issues with the secondary. They pick up rookie Trey Amos out of Ole Miss, hearing good things about him and OTAs. So again, they addressed some of their issues. But to me, again, you got two bookend tackles now with the pickup of Laremy Tunsil and Josh Connerly. You already picked up, I forget the kid's name who's going to be playing guard. Wow, I can't remember his name right now. And then you got a solid center veteran in there. So the main objective was for the Commanders was to protect their quarterback even more, which I believe they did that, and also see what they can do on the outside as far as weapons, and then cornerback concerns. And I think Trey Amos, he might not start day one, but from the stories that I'm hearing, he might be a guy that starts. They kind of swung and missed on Emmanuel Forbes when they drafted him, ended up getting him out of there. But again, I like the pick of a Trey Amos, physical cornerback, played in the SEC. That's what you're looking for. Now let's move it on to the Cowboys. Now the Cowboys got decimated with injuries, right? And you could probably blame the season that they had, the struggles that they had. Well, actually, you can blame the struggles that they had on all of these injuries. So for me, it wasn't about just some of the additions when it comes to the Cowboys, which they did make some good additions. You got George Pickens at wide receiver, pairing him up with CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert. That's a nice wide receiver room going on right there. And then you got they picked up the rookie Tyler Book out of Alabama. They're gonna put him at guard. They just picked up the what's the other kid's name? Tyler Guyton, and then they got a Tyler Smith. There's just a whole bunch of Tylers on the Dallas Cowboys, man. It's crazy, but along the offensive line. But I'm sitting here like, it's not about what they added, it's about who they're getting back. You're getting back Trayvon Diggs, you're getting back Dak Prescott. Curious to see what type of level he comes back to right away. Again, they start the season off with the Eagles. For Dak Prescott coming back off an injury like that, hopefully he's mobile enough for them. I don't care, but hopefully he's mobile enough, because that's going to be a challenge for him to come back to. I don't know how much he's going to play in the preseason also. But yeah, I'm just sitting here like, the Cowboys is more about, can they get back to their ways? They got a new coaching staff and all that. So I don't know. It's a big question mark when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. They're getting all these players back, but it's going to be a lot of changes when it comes to the offense, defense, and things like that. So, but they got some good additions. They also picked up cornerback Siobhan Revelle. And then I believe they picked up Kyer Elam from Buffalo, the cornerback from Buffalo. And now let's talk about my Giants, right? Arguably one of the best off seasons we've had in a long time, addressing a lot of positions of need, and also hopefully figuring out if we have a franchise quarterback. When I want to talk about some of these additions when it comes to the New York Giants, most importantly was the quarterback position. Daniel Jones is now gone. In his place is Russell Wilson. Now, the biggest thing with Russell Wilson is this: how good or what does Russell Wilson have left in the tank? And I'm telling everybody out there, this is how I think about it. To me, Russell Wilson right now today is still a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. So I expect, better play from our offense. We also picked up Jameis Winston. He's a QB2. We also picked up Jackson Dart, who will be the future quarterback for the New York Giants. And to be honest, as a Giants fan, I don't even want to see Jackson Dart this year. The man got some cooking to do. I told everybody in the fan base that he needs to have some seasoning. He's a slow cook process. He's like a brisket. You got to put him on the grill and make sure he's right before you get him out there. But outside of that, we got Abdul Carter. we picked up Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo to help out on this defense. Abdul Carter, arguably the best player in the draft coming up. The issue that the New York Giants have had was getting pressure on the quarterback. Now, I think we go from having, a good, or I should say a solid edge room with Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau to probably having the best edge room, in the division when you add Abdul Carter. And he's going to be a defensive weapon for us. Also, when I talk about Paulson Adebo, we had issues with the cornerback spot. Last year, our number one cornerback was Tay Banks. We saw what happened with that. We had Dory Jackson. After that, we had Cordell Flott. You add on Paulson Adebo, it moves everybody down on the depth chart, and the secondary looks a lot better. And then when you add safety Javon Holland out of Miami, before he got injured last year, the year before that, one of the best safeties in the NFL, and right now to me he's looking like he could be the best safety in the NFC East. And then Darius Alexander, Cam Scatterbull are two rookies that we also picked up. One thing that the New York Giants have struggled with was stopping the run, and right now when you add Darius Alexander, his strong suit, or what he was known for, was being able to stop the run, stopping the run in college. Hopefully he can bring that to the next level. But we also had some pickups with Ledbetter and was it Roy Robinson Harris that can be some solid rotational guys. Also picked up Chauncey Golston, former Cowboy as well. So I'm happy with the way that our GM addressed what we needed, especially in the defensive front, and he did that. And then also adding Cam Scatterbull as a running back, I think that boosts our running back room. Tyrone Tracy had a fantastic year, for us last year. Ended up being kind of like a breakout player. Can he continue to get better this year? I hope so. But adding Cam Scatterbull to that room makes it a nice 1-2 punch. And then we also have Devin Singletary at running back. So I'm liking these additions. And again, and to me, the entire NFC East has improved. The rosters have improved on paper, and the way I opened up this video was saying that we could possibly be, the best division in football, depending on if all these teams can get their acts together. If the Giants can be good again, you see the hat, make the Giants great again, make sure you pick up one of those. That's in the store. You can see that in the link down below. But the Cowboys, getting back to where the Cowboys should be. And that, again, this is me being unbiased. This is an unbiased video. It only happens a few times a year when I talk good about my rivals. But again, I gotta be honest. Everybody, in my opinion, has made improvements, going into the 2025 season. Now, this is the part everybody been waiting for. We want to talk about some of the rankings, positional rankings. I got graphics for you guys. Without further ado, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are a New York Giants fan, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are an NFC East fan, sometimes I'm nice to you guys, but a lot of the times I am, a little bit of a hater. I do despise y'all, but again, if you want good content, entertainment content, talking about your teams, go ahead. Because sometimes people like to hate. Sometimes people like the negative stuff. And for me, if you're an Eagles fan tuned in, you're not going to like me at all, especially during the season. Cowboys, Commanders, same thing goes for y'all as well. But again, let's get into these positional rankings. First thing I want to talk about is the quarterback rooms for the NFC East. You see the graphics. It's up here now. Number one, pains me to say, it's still going to be the Eagles with the number one quarterback in the division. You have the Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts. I cannot move him. As much as I do not like the Eagles, he is the number one quarterback in the division right now. After that, I have Jaden Daniels with the Commanders. Again, breakout year. A guy that everybody believes is definitely going to be a franchise quarterback. Had some MVP talks about him last year even. So yeah, I got him second. Third, I got Dak coming back with the Cowboys. As much as I want to put Russell Wilson in front of Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott has been with the Cowboys. His numbers are undeniable right now. Obviously, he got hurt last year, but he's been a solid quarterback. I have to put him against the newcomer, Russell Wilson, in the division. And then, of course, fourth, it'll be Russell Wilson. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comment section down below. I don't think I'm going to get too many arguments. I might have pissed off my own fan base by saying that, too, because, again, it doesn't take much for Russell Wilson to be ahead of Dak, in my opinion. but it is what it is. When it goes to the running backs, unfortunately, again, I got to give it to the Philadelphia Eagles. Not only do they have the best running back in the division, they have the best running back in all of NFL, in my opinion. Shout out to Saquon Barkley. I hate that he left, or I hate that we pushed him out the door, or whatever scenario you want to put there, but he is the best running back in the division, and I think because of him, that puts the Eagles at first. Second though, I have my own New York Giants. I think the combination of Tyrone Tracy, Cam Scatterbo, and Devin Singletary will push the New York Giants into that second place spot for the running back room. And also that's because I believe that combination of those guys is better than who I have in third place, the Commanders, with Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler. Now, that thing can easily switch. It is what it is, but right now I like my combination of running backs more than I like the combination of the running backs for the Commanders. And when it comes to the Cowboys, who's the running backs for the Cowboys? I know they got some rookies. I know they picked up Javonte Williams. Who they pick up, the kid Blue too, but a lot of unproven and a lot of people that were available in free agency. So I say that respectfully, but I got the Cowboys fourth when it comes to the running backs. Now let's move over into the wide receiver room, and again I have the Eagles at the number one spot when it comes to the wide receivers. Just the duo of AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. It just is. That's the best wide receiver combo in the division right now. Second, I'm putting the Cowboys, the combo of CeeDee Lamb and picking up George Pickens, and then also having Jalen Tolbert. I gotta give it. I gotta give it to the Cowboys second place. Who knows what's gonna happen? That could be one of the best duos or best trios in the league when the season's all said and done. But I'm putting them in second place now because I got the reigning, Super Bowl champions and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith ahead of that group. In third though, I do have the New York Giants. I have us in front of the Commanders, and people will say, well, what about Terry McLaurin? What about Deebo Samuels? I understand, but Malik Neighbors is going to be, he's already a household name, but Malik Neighbors has the ability to be a top 5 wide receiver. I'm putting him ahead of Terry McLaurin, even though he don't got the numbers to Terry McLaurin been playing for a while now, but I'm putting Malik Neighbors in front of Terry McLaurin. And then when I look at Darius Slayton, or the combination of Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and what we think we can get from Jalen Hyatt, I just like my wide receiver room a little bit more than what the wide receiver room of the Commanders. Plus, they just lost Noah Brown. They do have Terry McLaurin. They do have Deebo Samuels. A lot of people say Deebo Samuels, we don't know how much he got left in the tank, but I think he'll be fine. But that's going to be probably the most debatable spot are the wide receivers right now. Now, once the season starts, and I believe that Russell Wilson will be cooking, I think we'll be right where we need to be, and hopefully we can take it even further than that. Next room is going to be the tight end room, and the New York Giants, man, we've had some great tight ends in histories. We had the Bravaros, we had the Shockies. We had that. We had Darren Waller for a season, even though he quit on us and whatever week that was against Buffalo, those news reports. But I'm putting the Eagles first when it comes to the tight ends, and it was close to me too, because the Cowboys, I like that set or that group of tight ends also with the Cowboys, but the offensive coordinator has changed with the new coaching staff. But Dallas knows how to use their tight ends. So do the Eagles. But I had to put the Eagles ahead of the Dallas Cowboys just because I like Dallas Goedert more than Jake Ferguson. I just like him more than Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson is on the rise to a guy that I really like coming out of college as well. But I got the Eagles 1, Cowboys 2. Then I got the Commanders with Zach Ertz in 3. And then for the New York Giants, the reason why I have us 4th is because we got an unknown when it comes to the tight end. We have Theo Johnson, who has the potential and the skill to be one of these top tight ends, has not put it together on the field completely yet. Daniel Bellinger, I'm high on. I think he's going to be a great tight end too. And then when you look after that, Thomas Fidone, Chris Mann, Hurts, we got Greg Dulcich. But right now, the room is so unproven. I got to keep them in the 4th spot. And then lastly, offensive line. Offensive line, it shouldn't be any surprise how this offensive line goes. For me, number 1 is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Easy work. Next is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Again, easy work. And again, that's a young Dallas Cowboys offensive line too that they're putting together. A young offensive line and when Cowboys always end up having a good offensive line, it's just something they've been able to draft well, a position that they've been able to draft well at all across the offensive line. So I got them at 2. I have the Commanders with the new additions that they picked up this year at 3 when it comes to the offensive line. Again, Larry Tunsil, Josh Connerly. You understood what the assignment was, and the assignment was to protect Jaden Daniels, and I think they did that. And for me, the Giants, again, we addressed the offensive line. We brought back some veterans, Illuminor. I mean, he was already here, but we brought back Greg Van Roten, Aaron Stinney, guys to add some depth. But it's all about, can Andrew Thomas stay healthy? Can JMS take the next step? You know, what Evan Neal is going to look like at guard. You know, it's still a hodgepodge when it comes to the New York Giants, but we're working on that. We're absolutely working on that. All right, so next thing I want to talk about is the defense. Yeah, this video is already getting long, so we're going to go through this defense, pretty easily. First up is going to be the defensive line. The defensive line right now, I have the Eagles first just because these guys have been playing together. We already seen the results. And I have the Eagles with Jalen Carter and I'm forgetting the guy's name, Jordan Davis. That's just a fantastic combo there. I can't put, the Giants in front of the Eagles, but I will put the Giants at second because Dexter Lawrence is arguably the best defensive tackle in the league. I'm going to call him the best defensive tackle in the league, but guess what? He can't do it by himself. We got him a little bit of help, but that's why I have the New York Giants in the second spot behind the Eagles in the defensive line. Next is going to be the Commanders because they did add, they have, what's his name? They have Payne. They lost Jonathan Allen, but they picked up Javon Kinlaw. So, I like those guys. And then Dallas is going to be third. They got, what's his name? Not Old Diggy Zua. Was it? Is it Old Diggy Zua? They got Old Diggy Zua and then Mozzie Smith. A lot of people are ready to throw Mozzie Smith out of here. I'm seeing that he's in great shape now. But for me, that's how I have the rankings when it comes to the defensive line. Next, I'm going to talk about the interior linebackers. And when I talked about the defensive line before, I was not adding edge rushers. I was just talking about, D tackles and stuff like that. But when it comes to the interior linebackers, I got the Eagles number 1 still. Zach Bond, fantastic job last year. Picked up Jahad Campbell. I'm putting those guys right there in the number 1 spot. Next, I actually have the Commanders. Now, the Commanders have Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. Fantastic combo. But after that, I have the New York Giants. I think the team, or I should say the duo of Micah McFadden and Bobby Okereke, even though Bobby O had a down year last year, I think that Bobby O and Micah McFadden are a great combo to have as far as interior linebackers. And then the Cowboys dealt with some injuries. I believe they got Overshown back. They have Micah Parsons that plays sometimes in the interior but also plays on the edge. I'm not going to count him as an interior linebacker in this video, but I got the Cowboys 4th when it comes to interior linebackers. Next, I'm going to talk about the cornerbacks, right? The cornerback. Actually, you know what? No. I'm going to talk about the edge room. Again, shine some light on my Giants. When it comes to the edge room, I have the Giants first. No doubt in my mind. No debating. When it comes to what we have in the edge room right now, we have Brian Burns, we have Abdul Carter, we have Kayvon Thibodeau. I think that's the best edge room in the division. After that, I do have the Cowboys because of Micah Parsons. They went and got Dante Fowler back from the Washington Commanders, so I have them second just off the strength of Micah Parsons. And then then I have the Eagles. With their edge room, you got Nolan Smith, and it's crazy I can't remember the other guy's name right now. That is crazy, but again, I have them third, and then I have the Commanders. I got the Commanders 4th in division when it comes to the edge room. So next, I want to talk about the cornerbacks, and I got to give the cornerbacks to the Eagles right now. They did lose Darius Slay. They did lose Bradbury. They did lose Bradbury. Who cares? They picked up Quinyon Mitchell. They got freaking Cooper DeJean, and I forget whoever that other cornerback is right now. But I got to give them the cornerback spot right now for number one when it comes to the division. After that, I have the Cowboys. Again, they get Diggs back. They got Deron Bland back. They just picked up Siobhan Reveal. I like what they have in the cornerback room. Let's see how they play together. Everybody's back healthy. After that, I do have the Giants. I do think that the addition of Paulson Adebo is better than what the Commanders have at cornerback. Paulson Adebo. Actually, I think I might have to switch that up because I like Paulson Adebo. I think Tate Banks needs to grow. I absolutely love Andrew Phillips, but when I look at the Commanders, now I'm thinking about Mikey Sam Rastrill. He was fantastic last year. And it's an unknown for the New York Giants still. So I'm going to go ahead and make that switch. I had the Giants in third, but I'm going to go ahead and give that to the Commanders because of how much I like Mikey Sam Rastrill. Again, I know people are going to hate me, even my own fan base, but it is what it is. And then finally, we're talking about the safety room. I got the Eagles at 1. Again, nothing has changed with those guys. We got Blankenship, Sidney Brown. I do have the Giants at 2nd because I believe Javon Holland has the chance to be the best safety in the division. If he gets back to form like he was in Miami the year prior, you're talking about a guy that had an overall grade in the 90s. I got to put us in 2nd as far as safeties. Love what Tyler Newman brings to the table as a rookie. We have not even scratched the surface with his ability yet. And then also the Cowboys after that, steady guys at their safety spot. Malik Hooker is still there. I forget the tall guy's name right now. It is what it is. He's like 6'3". Wilson, that's his name, Wilson. And then I got the Commanders, last when it comes to the safety. But that's going to be the wrap up. That's going to be the preview and some positional rankings for the NFC East. Probably made some enemies. Maybe I made some friends. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about this video overall. Did I hurt your feelings? Did I make you happy? At the end of the day, I don't care. It's my opinion. It's my point of view. I think it's pretty solid. I think I was being unbiased, but again, it is what it is. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fans to other NFC East fans, let's go.